Okay, so hi, Erin.
Hello, Jordan.
Okay, I feel like I just need to take a deep breath. This is a doozy of a topic. I feel like I've gone slightly insane researching it. There
Fun.
will be a rant, probably a couple scattered throughout.
I love that for me and the listener.
I'm glad. Hold on to that energy because
All
you
right.
might hate me by the end of it.
Okay, well, that's fun too. This is the end of our friendship.
And the whole show.
Yeah, it's been great, you all.
Okay, so I told you that when I started this research, like a couple weeks ago, because we had to push the recording date back, and then I got more into it because of that, my mistake. But I told you that when I started it, that it was going to be my first story where I had more ghost stuff than history stuff. Fool that I was.
I believe you also said that it seemed pretty straightforward. Am I remembering that correctly?
If I did, then kill me now.
Okay. I may be misremembering that, but...
So for reference, I always start my research with an outline of just like, here's a bullet point list of the topics that I want to make sure that I get. When I did just that for this, it was a full page. By the time that I finished just the history research, I was already at 7 pages.
Jesus.
My entire story for the Bodie, California episode, which was an hour long, was only 5 pages.
I was going to say, I'm usually like 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, so we're going to be trying something new here, everybody, and this is actually a 2-parter.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when Caroline and I started this podcast, we decided that we wanted to keep the episodes between a half hour and an hour and a half. And it seems that the episodes that are below an hour do slightly better on average. So we're going to split this in 2 parts, but I do want to know how you guys feel about that. You know, is it worth the wait for 2 weeks? Does that like help build suspense? Would you rather have it all up front in a giant monster episode if, you know, I ever find another topic that has this much information?
Which I feel like you will. I think it depends. Like for me personally, when I'm listening to a podcast, I don't mind the occasional episode that's a little bit longer, and then it's kind of like a little treat.
Yeah.
But then I feel like with anyone I've ever listened to, inevitably, the next thing you know, they're all 2 hours. And you're like, okay, I don't have this kind of time. Like I'm trying to listen to this in this little window.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. We want to be like a commute podcast, not a road trip podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So please let us know what you think. Give us that feedback. And then also, before we get any further, I do want to say, this might make no sense to anybody, but if we happen to sound different today, it is because we are recording this episode at my mom's house. So there's a bit of a different reverb and everything in this room. We were going to record at my house like usual, and then my neighbor's kids decided it was a wonderful time to go out and start screaming.
it is a nice day. I will give them that.
Okay, so without further ado or complaining on my part, that will come later.
Good.
Today we are covering the Bellaire House in Bellaire, Ohio.
The other Bellaire.
Yes. Okay.
Not to be confused with California.
No. This is in Ohio.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of this place?
I don't think so. The only Bellaire I'm familiar with is the one that the Fresh Prince went to after that one little fight. And his mom got scared.
This is Bellaire, one word.
Oh.
Yeah. I had never heard of it either. I mentioned it to someone else and they were immediately like, oh yeah, I know about that. It seems to have like the same level of like Amityville, but I had never heard of it.
I mean, maybe once you get into it, I'll be like, oh, I think I've heard, like, this sounds a little familiar and I just forgot the name, but nothing's jumping out at me.
Yeah, no, I fully knew nothing about this, which is why I thought it was going to be simple and then it wasn't. Okay, so the full title of this building is the Bellaire House Afterlife Research Center. Okay. The address is 1699 Belmont Street in Bellaire, Ohio.
Okay.
I'm putting emphasis on that.
Okay.
The address of this house.
1699 Belmont Street in Belmont, Ohio.
Bellaire, Ohio.
Bellaire. So close.
It's Belmont County. Okay. So you're close. Belmont County. This is all going to come up later. I already sound crazy.
Okay, and I mean, I'm just going to say it. Ohio, if you're taking notes, that's a lot of bells.
So many. I have thoughts. We'll get there. Okay.
Oh, good.
So Bellaire is a village of fewer than 4,000 people.
Okay.
As of the 2020 census, in the Wheeling metropolitan area, and that's Wheeling, West Virginia.
Oh, so kind of right there where Ohio and West Virginia
meet. It is on the Ohio River.
Okay.
Right across from Wheeling, West Virginia, on the border there.
All right.
Okay. So, you know me. I need history.
I had heard that.
So, this is a brief history of Bellaire, which is not totally necessary for the house, but it's going to provide some context for what we get into later.
That makes sense.
Like I said, area along the Ohio River on the border with West Virginia. And originally this land was home to the Mingo, Shawnee, and Delaware tribes. Mm-hmm. From the mid-1700s, when fur trappers and colonizers began pushing into the area, to the early 1800s, the land was subject to land disputes and localized conflicts.
Okay.
The first home officially built in the area was built by Jacob Davis. Remember that name?
Okay. So much to remember already.
I do feel like I'm going insane with this story.
I feel like there's going to be a test.
Okay, so it was built in 1802 on 6 acres of land that was surveyed for a village. Okay. His son, Jacob Davis Jr., laid out the first plan for 64 building lots for Bellaire, which was bell, like ringing a bell, space, air. Okay. This was in 1834. He lays out this plan.
Like a neighborhood?
Like a
community.
Yeah, like a town.
Yeah, neighborhood doesn't. That was not like a 1800s thing. A suburb.
I mean, kind of, but like not this far west yet.
Yeah.
And it was named. This name comes from the Jacob Davis's Maryland home where he came from.
Oh, okay.
So he's naming it after his old home. And then by 1836, the first schoolhouse was built. It was less than 18 feet square, and Jacob Davis Jr. was the first schoolmaster.
Wait, 18 feet square. Now, I have no concept of size, as you know. Mm-hmm. That feels small.
It was very small. There were not many people here at all in the 1830s. However, the town grew. Okay. The first train from the Central Ohio Railroad ran through town in 1854 from Columbus, and then it connected to Cleveland and Pittsburgh lines in 1856. Immigration followed suit, and the coal and glass industries boomed.
Okay.
The current business district remains on the same lots laid in 1854 when the town was renamed Bellaire. One word.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And with an E at the end.
To be fancy.
Yes. It was properly incorporated in 1860, and then by 1873 became the city of Bellaire.
Okay.
So it graduated from a village to a city.
Okay.
Now, as far as industry goes, the coal mining industry was one of the first in town, and it employed a decent percentage of the population. The first coal miner was Captain John Fink. Also remember that name. Okay. And that was around 1830. He mined and stockpiled coal by himself for 2 years before he began shipping it out.
That doesn't feel like a solo job.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just wanted to make sure he had enough before he started selling it, but
that just, it feels like a dark, literally, and lonely 2 years. Just you and a canary down there. I don't know.
I don't know if he was like fully by himself, but as the owner, he was doing it like it was not a full operation, and he is credited as the pioneer miner.
In my head, I'm making him by himself. Yeah, because that's amazing
what it sounded like. Yeah. And also, like, he must have had money if he could afford to not be selling his product for 2 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know how he started out, but that's where he wound up. Mm-hmm. And then later he built like steamships and stuff, which is why he's a captain. Yeah, but he started with coal. Okay. So he created this export of coal for the town. And then the coal fueled the glass factories. Mm-hmm. And then by 1872, there were 5 glass manufacturers in the town, with up to 8 at the industry's peak, leading many to call it Glass City. Ooh. By 1873, there was also a natural gas company taking advantage of natural gas deposits. With Bellaire settled on the Ohio River and home to 2 growing industries, it became a hub of transportation and trade. With multiple rail lines,
Yeah.
it was connected to every major American city.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Big deal. Maybe it is weird that we haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we're getting to the decline.
Okay.
So this led to the construction of the Great Stone Viaduct, which is just really cool. It's labeled as a bridge, like a big stone bridge, but it was for railway tracks.
Okay.
And then the Bellaire Bridge in 1926, which is a steel truss bridge that closed in 1991. Now, the population peaked in 1920 at 15,061.
So it's still pretty small.
But still in city
Yeah.
limits.
Yeah.
In 2000, the city population lowered to fewer than 5,000 residents, and they lost their certification to be a city, demoted back to a village.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, they're still a village now.
Oh.
However, several mines and gas deposits have recently been leased by new companies over thousands of acres, and they hope that will renew industry for the town thanks to new mining technology. And then just a couple fun facts about Bellaire
Yay.
that I found. Bellaire Bridge over the Ohio River, that's the steel one,
Okay.
was used as a filming location in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, man, I haven't seen that in forever.
I've never seen it.
We'll watch it and then we'll be like, oh my God, there's the bridge.
The Great Stone Viaduct was in Unstoppable's runaway train scene. It's the movie with Denzel Washington.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
The village is proudly home of the Toy and Plastic Brick Museum, which features giant Lego sculptures.
I was going to say like Legos.
Uh-huh. It's an unofficial Lego museum.
Okay, yeah. I thought there was a reason we didn't drop the Lego name.
Yeah. And the National Imperial Glass Museum.
Glass museums are super interesting. We went to one last summer, I think Corning up in New York, and it was really cool. Like just lots of sculptures, and you get to watch a glass blowing demonstration, which always fascinates me. I could have watched that all day.
I should have checked out their website. I don't know if they have like a workshop there. I know it's like a huge part of like the history of all the glassmaking industry. Yeah, but I don't know. And then final fun fact is that Ted Levine was born there, who, if you don't know, is an actor who played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
A second Silence of the Lambs connection?
Which makes me think that...
He was like, hey guys,
Yeah.
I know a bridge.
Yeah. I'm thinking. I don't know.
It had to be.
Right? And then if you're like me and you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, he played the hunter Ken Wheatley in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
That one I
which
haven't seen.
I saw once in theaters. Spoiler alert. I think he's the first guy in the movie to get killed by a dinosaur
Okay.
in that movie. And then, personal favorite, special in my family's heart, he is Captain Stottlemyre in Monk.
Oh.
So anyway, he's from there. And then also, I was looking on the Wikipedia page of like notable people from Bellaire. So many NFL people.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they're putting in the water there, but those boys are getting pumped out and shipped straight to the NFL. I didn't write down any names because they meant nothing to me.
Yeah, they would mean,
But it was noticeable.
They would mean just as much to me.
Okay. So, I have put a disclaimer in my notes here.
Okay.
Okay?
Is it about you ranting?
Yes, this is my rant. Okay. I need you to know that when I started this story, I was all in for ghosts and creepy stuff, okay? Obviously. I had never heard of Bellaire House, and was quickly shocked by how much information came up for it when I looked it up after I had finished this book, which I should mention. I got all of the basic information, not everything I just said. The Bellaire history was all me. But as far as Bellaire House, I got the idea for this episode from a book at the library called Paranormal Confessions by Kristen Lee.
I feel like I've seen that book at the library.
Yeah. So we're gonna break this down, okay? So Kristen Lee is the current owner of Bellaire House.
Oh, okay.
She lived there for several years, okay? And she has written this book about her experiences with it, okay?
First-hand knowledge.
Listen, I like to believe that we have a healthy skepticism okay? We're not blindly believing
No.
everything that we research,
No.
okay? I don't know if we've said it on the podcast, but like we don't include stories of phenomenon that only get mentioned in one source or like don't have detail. You
I
know?
think I've mentioned it on a couple of mine of like, I only read this in one place, so
Yeah.
I don't really think that's true.
Yeah, exactly. So we try to be credible as we
Yeah.
can as far as this stuff goes, you know. And sometimes we poke fun or poke at holes, you know, like unexplained fog, okay?
Yeah.
You know, or
The guy who said that Indrid Cole drove him around and he went to his home planet and
lots of aliens or birds, guys.
Yeah. Lots of everything are birds.
Yeah, okay. So healthy skepticism, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
We attempt to fact check what we can, especially with these books, you know, because to me at least, if you take the time to publish a book and your actual history has easily disproven misinformation,
Oh, no.
that's not going to lend credibility to your claims of supernatural history.
No, it really doesn't. It certainly speaks to your ability to, like, Google.
Exactly. Oh my God. Okay. Just wait. Okay. And this is also, I'm still continuing my disclaimer, okay? It's like half a page, okay? This is also why I tend to go heavy on history in my episodes, because I look at a lot of sources to fact check.
For sure.
Find the right people, years, dollar amounts, etc., you know, to get the best idea of what to share so I'm not lying or spreading misinformation to you. I'm never going to make something up or include a fact that I'm not sure of without explicitly telling you I'm not positive on this. Okay? I feel like we're pretty good at that.
Yeah. I've looked into topics, think, oh, I'll find something here. And then I read through this book and I'm like, none of that, I can't find that anywhere. I'm not doing anything from this book.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Las Vegas.
Yeah. I know exactly what book you're talking about. Okay. So when I spend time digging through all of that research, you're damn well going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, this is a paranormal history podcast now.
Yeah.
At least the bare bones and the interesting tidbits that I find. Okay. All of that being said, the history of Bellaire that I just shared is fact, or as much as it can be when not everyone 150 years ago was bothered to record precise dates. Okay. But I got it from official city and state sources. The history of Bellaire House is much more obscure, so come with me on this journey. I took the history that Kristen Lee gave in her book and elaborated as best I could on it without having traveled to Bellaire Public Library myself.
Oh, and you didn't want to do that?
No.
Interesting.
Okay, so let's get into the history of the house.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the Hetheringtons.
Hetheringtons, okay. They
Yes.
sound fancy.
So Jacob Hetherington, he's the patriarch where we start our story, okay? He is born in 1814 in England. He immigrates in 1830 when he's 15, okay? And he had worked as a miner from the age of 7, as many as 18 hours a day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Olden days were different, and I'm glad I don't live in them.
Thank God for child labor laws.
Oh my God.
So he never went to school or learned how to read or write until he died at the age of 90, okay? Entire life.
Literally never.
Yep.
You've never learned how to read or write?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
So he came to Bellaire around 1832, and in 1837-ish, bought 8 acres from Captain John Fink to mine. So he eventually bought more mines and land, and he worked them with his mule, Jack. Now, this is not important to the story, but I bring it up because this is where my skepticism began, with the house that Jack built. Okay, I hope you can hear the quotes in my voice there. The house
I can
that
confirm
Jack built.
quotes are being made with the fingers.
Yes. So Jacob Hetherington's final home was built for $35,000 in 1870,
Okay.
which in today's money, $900,000.
Holy shit.
This guy became like a millionaire of the town.
And not able to read or write.
Nope.
Never had school.
Didn't have to back then.
Yeah, true. It was easier.
But he started off in his first mine with this mule, Jack. Okay?
Yes.
It's like his best friend.
Yes.
It's just him and Jack working,
Okay, that's
building
precious.
this empire. Yes, he's his best friend.
I would watch like a little animated short about that.
Would be cute. Okay, so he credits Jack with helping him build his empire. And when he built this house in 1870, he had a custom keystone built for above the front door with Jack's head on it.
Okay.
Like a carved stone
Yeah.
mule head of like Jack smiling above his door.
Nice. That's cute.
Mm-hmm. Jack was led through the completed house as the first to receive a tour.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. And then I saw one article that said that there was carpet everywhere so that it wouldn't hurt his hooves so he could walk around in it. And then when Jack died at the age of 40 years and 10 days old, he was buried on the family property and given a special grave marker all his own.
You're damn right he was.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I didn't know they lived that long.
Yeah. I looked it up. That's surprisingly about average age for a mule.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess horses live that long as well.
No, horses
Right?
live about 25 years.
Just kidding. I
Mules
can't
live
tell
longer.
time.
I did look all of this up.
I was close.
Okay, so all of this that I have just said is backed up by different newspaper articles, each calling this mansion, quote, the house that Jack built.
I'm so glad to know that Jack getting a tour of the house has been confirmed because that is the best thing I've heard all day.
Isn't that precious?
It's so cute.
Okay, now Kristen, in her book, said, quote, his best friend became the stuff of legend when the famous nursery rhyme, The House That Jack Built, was written about him. End quote. I had never heard of this rhyme.
I was like, am I missing something?
Yeah. So I looked it up. Okay.
I've heard the phrase.
I was like, maybe this is a Ohio nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. It has its own Wikipedia page.
Oh.
Okay. Which listed its origin as likely an oral history rhyme, as many other nursery rhymes are, but was first put to print in 1755.
Kristen, listen. That's no. Mm-hmm. So that took you 2 minutes to find.
If that.
Yeah. Like a person could find that scrolling their phone on the toilet.
To be extra petty here.
Yes.
I did check the Wikipedia edit section, and this has been on the Wikipedia page since at least 2007, and Paranormal Confessions was published in 2021.
So zero excuses. Also, I like to think I have a fair degree of pettiness to me. It's one of my many charms. I have never thought to check a Wikipedia edit section.
When I tell you that this episode had me at the end of my rope, oh my god.
I'm now getting a glimpse into, I feel like, the emotion behind some of the texts and Snapchats and things that I have been receiving. I'm okay.
I've been slowly losing it. We're gonna come up to the next part, but I spent probably 2 hours at work digging through old records just to try and prove one point. I hope my boss never listens to this. Okay.
She spent 2 hours of her free time at home.
Yeah, that. Okay, so not looking good for basic fact checking against local legend.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. Okay. So back to Jacob Hetherington. Okay. He married Eliza Armstrong in 1835, and together they had 10 children. Oh. Eventually, he came to own 800 acres, at least 30 buildings, several steamboats, and shares in the glass factories, making him a millionaire and one of the wealthiest men in Belmont County. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. A lot of moolah.
Yeah.
And they owned properties that were like for the family, but he also provided housing to his miners.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was cool. And then I just have to show you this picture. Not important, but Eliza's grave. So she died in 1896, okay? And she's buried in Greenwood Cemetery, which is in Wheeling, West Virginia, right across the river. And please look at her gravestone.
Okay, that is gorgeous.
Isn't it?
Like, there's like a full sculpture of her sitting on top of the gravestone. Like,
it's fully life-size.
Yeah.
Marble sculpture of her. And she's got a book in her lap.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Bible or not. I don't remember.
She just looks, I want to say, like, stately.
Yes.
Very sophisticated, like, just head held high, like.
Well, this was very poetic. I saw a comment, I think it was on Facebook, and somebody said that the way it was described to them was, they came from humble beginnings. Mm-hmm. And so before he got rich, she worked in a local tavern as a waitress or whatever, or maybe a cook maybe. And so when they eventually wound up in higher society, the other high society people looked down on them.
Of course, the new money.
Yes. And now in her gravestone, she sits high up looking down at all of them.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
As stated,
very
love pettiness.
Very poetic. But it's just a gorgeous monument.
It is. I would like to see that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start. Here we go. Speaking of petty. I'm going to start with what Kristen claims as the timeline for the Bellaire House. Okay?
Okay, Kristen.
Here's just the quick little summary. The home was built in 1847 by Jacob. Mm-hmm. And then when he died in 1904, his son Alexander inherited his business. Eventually, he was committed to the Athens Asylum for the Insane.
Ooh.
After being diagnosed non-compos mentis. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's Latin.
Yeah, it is.
Which
I'm 90% sure.
Not of sound mind.
Yes.
Okay. He suffered from epilepsy and hallucinations. So he eventually died as well, and the business and affairs were moved to his daughter, Eliza Lyde, which is Lyde.
Okay.
So she lived in the house with her brother Edwin until she died in the living room of a heart attack in 1947.
Okay.
He, her brother Edwin, is consumed with grief and spent his days and money hiring mediums and psychics to put him in contact with his sister. He was inexperienced and untrained, though, which could be the reason there are as many as 11 portals open in the house.
That is a lot of portals.
Yeah, you don't even want one.
I don't.
Mm-hmm. So he kept opening them and had no way to close them.
Oh.
And he was eventually removed from the house by remaining family and died in Bellaire in 1962.
Okay.
So this is Kristen's version of the history.
Okay. 11 portals. Gotcha.
Let's deconstruct.
Oh, good.
Shall we?
There's only 10 portals.
So I found an excerpt from a book published in 1903 called The Centennial History of Belmont County, Ohio, that states, quote, this is about Jacob Hetherington, okay. His first residence survived the flood of 1832, and the second building stood through the flood of 1852, end quote. Mm-hmm. Possibly this is Bellaire House. The timeline matches up. We know that it's not the final mansion, because that was built in 1870.
Yes.
But I couldn't find anything saying that the house was built in 1847. Okay. And then in August 18th, 1915 newspaper, I did find an ad that mentioned a real estate auction for Jacob's estate by Eliza Lyde. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the first tract being advertised as for sale is listed as, quote, homestead lot and dwelling, has a front west side of Belmont Street, end quote. There's dimensions, and I did go into Google Maps and use the ruler, and the dimensions do match the property of the current Bellaire House.
Something I am literally incapable of doing.
It's the first time I've done it, but I sure figured it out.
I'm so proud.
Okay, so I feel pretty safe in assuming that the Bellaire House is the Hetherington homestead. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is where the kids were born.
Yes.
Okay. Kristen said, after Jacob's death in 1904, his coal mining empire moved to control of his son Alexander. Except, Alexander died in 1891.
Kristen, listen. For the second time already, these facts were readily available to you.
Yep.
And you said, let me write this book.
It took me a couple read-throughs before I even noticed that math didn't math.
Oh.
And I went, wait a minute. And then, listen. I was slowly going crazy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's the point.
The house is getting to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I also couldn't find any records of his being committed, but she claims to have found those locally in the house or maybe the live. I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny.
Well, okay. And I had this question when you said that he was committed. Like, I thought it was interesting that everything went to him. If he suffers from epilepsy, like that's usually like a lifelong thing, right?
No,
can you get it later? Yeah. Okay. Because you said they had 10 kids. Like, why did it all go to him?
Yeah. So I purposely didn't go into it because it was all so out there and I didn't know what to believe.
Question redacted.
Well, so just broad mentions of epilepsy, partial paralysis. So possibly he had like a stroke or something.
Yeah.
Hallucinations. At one point she said that he said that demons were after him. But again, I had no source for that. She said she found like a psychiatrist note that was recommending he be committed, where he was suffering from stress from work and like wandering by the river, didn't know who he was or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe she did find like a psychiatrist note that the family left behind.
Yeah.
But I can't confirm any of this. So I don't know. But I don't think he was in charge of any business before he died, because his father was.
Yeah.
So it's just, none of it matches up, and I don't know.
That's frustrating.
Yeah. So I can't confirm nor deny any of that. But I can confirm that control of all the affairs moved to his eldest daughter, Eliza Lyde. Okay. After her brother Edwin was mustered out of service in 1919 from World War I, he moved in with her, and the two were close. I have confirmed census records of the two living together on Belmont Street in 1920, 1930, and 1940, along with another brother. And the 1940 was with the brother, I don't know how you say his name, Ole? It's Oalle.
Oalle.
Weird old-timey name.
Yeah.
So 1940, they were living with that brother and a servant named Catherine.
Okay.
I didn't write this down. I think in the 1920 census, they were with another brother. Maybe it was like Jacob Jr. But anyway, so they lived together for decades. Okay, they're very close.
Yes.
A 1920s newspaper states that her home is in South Bellaire. Her death certificate says she died from a sudden heart failure after a 10-year battle with arteriosclerosis.
Okay.
The thing where like the lining of your heart hardens.
Ooh.
Yeah. And her place of death was listed as 1700 Belmont Street.
Now, I have been actively remembering the address, and it was not 1700. It was 1699.
Thank you.
So she was across the street.
I'm about to lose it on these people who kept records back then.
Come on, guys.
We're only at the beginning. Okay. So,
Didn't you all know that one day there would be a podcast about this?
Okay. So as far as Edwin living alone in the house and eventually being kicked out by family, Edwin was named Lyde's executor. And I found proof of this June 28th, 1947 newspaper article. Because apparently back then you just put everybody's business in the newspaper.
Yes. That went on for a while.
Yes.
And I think I remember my husband maybe talking to his parents just about old newspapers, and it used to be everything was in there. You know,
like
so
who's leaving town? Who's
so and so died, and it's all going to be here. All the details, like, hey, Robber, here's a great time to come to their house. They lived at this address. They're going to be at the funeral at this time.
Yeah, out of town at this place for these days.
Keys under the mat. Help yourself.
Okay. So he's named as her executor. And then I found a 2001 newspaper article that was about the house that Jack built, which is the mansion, right? And it states, quote, 2 of Hetherington's grandsons lived in the mansion until their death, including grandson Edwin.
Okay.
Okay. Referring to the later mansion, the 1870 house. Okay. As best I can tell, that was located on Belmont Street, but somewhere between 31st Street and Crescent Street. Because when it was torn down, it was... Listen. I know I sound insane. When the house was torn down, it was replaced by a motel. Complete side note, I did find a newspaper article about the motel owner murdering his wife at their home.
Oh.
Okay, and the motel was also eventually torn down in 2020. But the address I found for the motel was 1601 Belmont Street, which is no longer a good address. If you look that up, it's going to take you somewhere completely out of Bellaire. And I found another article that stated, not an address, it just said, in the 1600 block of Bellaire.
Okay.
Which I found a map from 1884.
Of course you did.
And the 16 block, not 1600, just the 16 block was between 31st Street and Crescent Street. Okay. So as far as I can tell, both of these houses were on Belmont Street, but were like several blocks away from each other, because 1699 is the Bellaire House is on the corner of Belmont Street and 17th Street. Okay. Nothing matches. Okay. Edwin's death certificate lists his street address at time of death as 16th and Belmont Street. Again, the house is on 17th. VA records list his address after death as 17th and Belmont Street. His returning soldier's card after the war lists his address as 1700 Belmont. And then his brother Jacob, who died in 1961, a year before him, his death certificate lists the address as 1699 Belmont Street. Mm-hmm. Literally everything says something different.
Yeah, there's some shenanigans going on here for sure.
So best I can tell, the two houses have been confused for each other here, obviously, and they all give different addresses. If I had to guess, I would say that after Jacob Hetherington's death, the family lived in the mansion for a bit and attempted to sell the homestead and other properties in 1915, like I said. At some point, they moved back to the homestead, and the mansion was abandoned, which we know because it had been abandoned for a while before it was torn down and replaced by the motel, which one source said was built in 1959.
Okay.
So it can't have been the home that Edwin and his brother Jacob lived in when they died in the 60s, like the newspaper said.
Yeah.
That just has to be wrong. Mm-hmm. So it is fully possible that these people died in this house. Mm-hmm. But good Lord, I couldn't lock it in. And I'm just... So that's what you get. I went clinically insane getting that page of research trying to figure out just the fucking address of this
Where
place.
Where is the house?
So I had to share that with you all.
Absolutely.
Because I can neither confirm nor deny. Okay, we got that out of the way. And we are halfway through the first part, and it is 40 minutes in.
All right.
So, let's get into the alleged reasons for the hauntings besides the Hetheringtons. Mm-hmm. First off, we have the Native American burial caves.
Of course, yeah.
Allegedly, the land is the site of a, quote, Native American internment area, or, in other words, sacred Shawnee burial caves.
You want to stay away from those as far as building and whatnot.
Yeah, so she states that nearby the property are caves where the Shawnee used to bury their leaders and healers. Mm-hmm. The only problem with that is, as far as I can tell, and anyone please feel free to correct me if you know better than my Google searching, is that the Shawnee, like many other native peoples, didn't bury their dead in caves. They built burial mounds.
I did think caves sounded unusual, but I'm not an expert.
No, famously burial mounds. In fact, the biggest one in North America is in Ohio, from like pre-Columbian people. Yeah. So I also couldn't find anything indicating that there are caves in Belmont County, which doesn't necessarily mean that they don't exist. I just couldn't find proof of it online.
Yeah.
Amazingly, I only found one article with mention of burial mounds or remaining artifacts in Bellaire, and it was from last week. As of the time of this recording, the article was dated May 22nd, 2026.
I mean, timely. Appreciate you.
Like, when I had started this research, that article was not out yet.
Somebody had a feeling, like, someone's going to need to know this. We better write an article.
Yeah, so somebody remind me to follow up on that later, because it was this short little blurb about this local amateur archaeologist who found artifacts that he said were from a burial mound, and they were expecting state park officials to come out and look at like this week.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a follow-up, so...
All right, stay tuned.
Yeah. There's also a claim of battles during the French and Indian War happening in Bellaire. Mm-hmm. I know that there were battles in the Ohio River Valley, but I couldn't find anything about one happening in the limits of Bellaire itself.
Okay.
Overall, this claim just feels gross to me. I think I touched on it briefly in I think it was the Loretta Lynn episode, but there's just this disgusting history of white people commodifying the mysticism of native peoples.
Yes,
know?
yeah.
And that's just what this feels like to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything to back it up.
Well, yeah, I do think you see that a lot where it's like there's just this level of mystery to it. Ooh,
yeah, like they're doing rituals. And it's like, okay, well, I grew up doing the ritual of eating the flesh of Christ ritually in church every week. Okay?
Like, I didn't know how that sentence was going to end when it started, but yeah.
I mean, you can label anything as other, and it just... Let's chill,
I had my sixth grade social studies teacher always said, D does not equal W. Different does not equal weird.
I like that.
Right? Yeah. She was fun.
Yeah.
She also taught me a dance to remember longitude and latitude. So longitude goes up and down, latitude goes side to side. And when you do side to side, it's like side to side, the little wiggle.
She's just teaching y'all how to floss before flossing was a thing.
Yeah.
So the next claim is the coal mine collapse. Okay. So she also claimed that there is one of the Hetheringtons coal mines running underneath the house with a boarded entrance to it in the basement. Now, I found a 1930 newspaper that mentions the Hetheringtons mining in a mine on 23rd Street, which is 6 streets up from the house on 17th Street, right? And then it also mentioned that Jacob operated a mine in, quote, South Bellaire. But that's like half of Bellaire. Okay, that's this whole area. So it could be the same mine. An excerpt from that 1903 Centennial book that I mentioned says, quote, he later opened a mine just below his residence. A few years later, he opened what is known as Belmont No. 1, end quote. Now, on the Bellaire House website, Kristen claims that in 1893, there was an explosion in coal mine No. 1 that took the lives of 42 men.
That's a lot.
Yes, that's a whole claim, right? And that it's that these ghosts from this are
haunted,
contributing to everything going on at Bellaire House. Surprise! I couldn't find any record of this.
Oh.
And prior to the strike of 1894, Bellaire had an incredibly strong miners' union, so stuff like this was actually recorded.
Yeah.
The closest thing I could find was a newspaper article from 1893 about how someone had soaked the timber and cars in their Bellaire mine with oil before setting them on fire, which eventually led to the mine being closed down. But nobody ever reported any deaths or injuries, unless you count the $8,000 spent trying to put the fire out before closing down the mine.
Oh.
Which is just under $300,000 today.
P.S. 42 guys died. Like,
yeah, like
that's not, I mean, you know, you hate to say it, but you could understand like a couple of people dying, and it, you know, it's not in the history books or whatever, but 42 is a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a super specific number.
Like there were, I didn't write it down, but 20 minutes away in another town, there was a coal mine collapse where like over 100 people died. But that's not in Bellaire. And it was a completely different year.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, I don't know about the entrance to the mine, like, being in the basement. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Because I'm no mine expert. However, I believe they have a well-documented history of collapsing. And if my life's work was mines, that feels like something I'd know. And I'd maybe say, I'm not going to build my house on top of this. I can commute to work a little bit further.
Well, now, I will say there is an entrance to a mine incredibly close on Belmont Street. So they may have been building buildings on top of these mines.
Guys, come on.
I just don't know if there's or was a direct door into one in the basement.
Literally in the basement.
Yeah. So as far as the coal mine collapse, explosion, whatever, I did find record of a fire in a different mine in Bellaire that did kill 9 workers, but that was in 1925.
Okay.
So completely different.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like we are kind of
conflating a lot of things.
Grasping different stories out there and then just smooshing them together.
Yeah. So, I don't think there are any angry miner ghosts haunting the Hetheringtons' home in revenge for an explosion that killed them.
No.
But that's that on that. Moving on, we get to the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
So this was mentioned briefly in the book, but without any details, and I wanted to find more. So I checked the Bellaire House website, but the current website seems to be, like, incomplete. Like, it's just, the history section just cuts off randomly after talking about Alex Hetherington, the one who got committed.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you go to the page that's supposed to be about Kristen Lee, it's, like, completely blank. So it's something's broken with the website. Okay. However, I did remember the Wayback Machine. So shout out to the Wayback Machine. And in the 2021 version of the history page, it says that Jacob Davis, remember the founder of Bellaire?
Yes.
Was an abolitionist who worked with Captain Fink, Jacob Hetherington, and a Reverend Truman from the Bellaire United Methodist Church as part of the Underground Railroad freeing slaves.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Flushing, Ohio, nearby, actually has an underground railroad museum. So shout out to them for the fantastic virtual tour of significant sites and people in Belmont County.
Nice.
On their website. It was very cool. No mention of the people that I just mentioned above, or even any significant sites in Bellaire proper, either. So there could be an argument made that, you know, if you're really good at your job in the
That's
Underground
what I was
Railroad,
just thinking. They were so good.
there's no record of you, you know?
Yeah.
And I did find out that the slave auction block in Wheeling across the river was known as the last stop for slavery. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't uncommon for abolitionists to buy slaves there and then take them across the river to Ohio and free them.
Yeah.
I just can't find any record online of any of our Bellaire residents being involved in that.
Yeah.
So
literally all the key players
yeah.
in the story.
Yeah. So, you know, again, maybe that's only listed in local records. Just saying I couldn't confirm it online.
Mm-hmm. Y'all gotta digitize those.
Yeah. I also couldn't find any record of a Reverend Truman in any newspaper from the area. So, don't know where that name came from. Okay, next quote about possible sources.
So far, 0 out of however many of these are checking out. I was like 3, 4?
Okay, so the ley lines. Do you know about ley lines? Have you heard of this?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. I'd say it's like a popular, famous paranormal type, supernatural type thing.
Maybe I have.
We could do a whole episode on them.
And perhaps we will.
But here's a very quick description. Okay. So it's a pseudoscience from the early 20th century, similar to cryptids. You know? So an archaeologist named Alfred Watkins comes up with this idea in the 1920s that on a map you could draw straight lines between different ruins and structures, significant sites, right, that were used as trade routes by ancient societies. Not many people gave this any credit when they pointed out that you can't really travel in a straight line over mountains and stuff. Until the 1960s, when a man named Tony Wedd claimed that ley lines were used by these ancient societies as a way to guide aliens and UFOs.
Of course, yes.
So it was a very British concept. It has spent most of its lifetime as an idea just in Great Britain. And no evidence was ever supplied, so it eventually died out in the 90s. Now it's a very esoteric idea that's popular with fantasy writers, Ghostbusters 2016, anyone? And New Age religions. Yeah. So that's just a very brief history of ley lines.
Okay. For a minute, it was giving me, like, National Treasure. There's a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Which nobody believed that either until Nick Cage just blew the whole thing wide open.
I mean, it's very much like, it's the same idea as like dowsing rods, you know?
Yeah.
So like part of that new age belief today is that these lines carry energy similar to the Chinese geomantic energy lines, which are the basis of feng shui.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So some people believe that spirits can use the energy of these lines to grow more powerful, or even like a transdimensional subway line to travel between points of interest.
Next stop, Bellaire House.
Right. So according to Kristen, the house is situated on a ley line.
Of course.
And this could be a reason that paranormal activity is so strong on the property. These entities could be traveling to the house via the ley lines and gathering the energy from them. Here's the thing about ley lines. There's no universal agreed upon map for them.
She just like feels it in her bones.
Yeah, there's so many different versions, just depending on who made them, when, and what they consider a significant or powerful enough landmark or site to draw that energy. I did find a cool website that it's very interactive and it's a whole globe, and then there's just this list of it's like filters, you can select them, but just dozens of these maps of different ley lines.
Well, and I'm imagining, like, you know, let's say you have a ruin or, you know, whatever this point that is part of the ley line. Like, you could then just draw a straight line from anywhere on 360 degrees.
That's my literal next bullet point is, so, yeah, you can probably pick 2 points and have Bellaire House be between them. Somewhere
I can do it right now. Get me a piece of paper.
So I'm not here to argue about ley lines, but
I am.
I was in a very petty mood when I was doing these notes, if you could not tell.
It has not come through at all.
Here's the thing. I want to remind everybody that I do believe in the paranormal. Okay? I want to believe. We need to get me one of those X-Files posters that's like, alien I want to believe, and then I'm going to put like a shitty JPEG of a ghost over the UFO, okay? I want to believe people on these things, but if you are not even doing like just the bare amount of research, you're not giving me any credibility to believe your claims, okay? Ooh.
I need to put that in my phone for your birthday.
Thank you.
X-Files poster, shitty JPEG image of ghost over UFO.
Just like clip art.
And then we go to P.F. Chang's.
Perfect. Okay, moving on. Previous owners of the house. Okay. So I found an article by somebody named Kenny Biddle. He wrote it in 2024 on The Skeptical Inquirer. Mm-hmm. Okay. I wish I had found this article sooner because they
saved a lot of time.
I actually did a lot of the same research that I did on the coal mine part.
So side gig at the Skeptical Inquirer is perhaps in your future.
No, maybe if they're paying me, because...
Well, yeah. No, we don't work for free.
Worth it to do. I did all of this for free, and I'm regretting it.
I was going to say, we don't work for free, except for this and theater. Other than that, we don't work for free.
No. Okay, so all of my research comes from secondary or archival sources. Okay, I don't look for people to interview. Okay, this podcast is our hobby, and I have social anxiety, okay? But Kenny managed to track down 2 previous owners of the house.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and they lived there from 1999 to 2005. Both families had children at the time that they lived in the Bellaire House, and the both women that he contacted, Pauline and Carla, denied ever experiencing anything supernatural or unexplainable. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, however, Kristen writes about a young woman who had experiences there before she bought the property. So this young woman named Rhett visited Bellaire House with her wife, and she talked about how she used to spend a lot of time there as a child because her best friend lived there. Mm-hmm. So she had several experiences, including being locked in the bathroom and nobody in the house hearing her scream for help until the door unlocked itself. Mm-hmm. One time, she brought her baby nephew over in like a car seat, to introduce him to her friend. And as they're sitting in the living room with the family, the baby in his seat on the floor, they all just watch as the carrier and all just levitates off the ground.
Kristen, here's the thing. We're having a lot of these asides.
Let me hang on. So according to Rhett, okay, they were a, quote, strict Catholic family and refused to believe that anything supernatural was going on at all. So, do with that what you will. Mm-hmm. We've got both sides of the story now.
Okay.
They could have been in denial, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like at the baby levitation point for me is when I'm going to go ahead and put my skepticism on the shelf. Like, this tracks. That baby is floating. But
that's the thing is like the history. I get so fired up about the history because that's something that I can disprove.
Yeah, I can't disprove a floating baby.
No, because I'm not there to tell you that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, so unless you showed me a video and I could like send it to an expert to tell me if it was like photoshopped or CGI or whatever.
Yeah. I see wires.
I can't tell Rhett that she's lying to my face.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, we're almost done with the research. Okay. I have to point out, I did the 2021 book, Paranormal Confessions. Kristen has written another book called 1699 Belmont Street, A Portal to Hell.
Is she sure? 1699, 1700?
I don't know. That one came out in 2013. Okay, I have not read it.
So that's their first one.
Yes. But even if it has more information, I'm not going to assume that she did less research for the second book.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I guess, you get one book and it does well or whatever, and then you're really phoning it in on the next one. It could have happened. I don't know.
Blatant misinformation.
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost done. We have a page left.
Okay,
and it's all about Kristen Lee. I've been smudging a little bit of dirt on her name. Mm-hmm. Okay.
A little bit.
Sorry, but let's get into her now.
It feels like she's brought a little bit of that on herself with these easily
thank you.
researchable facts.
I'm much less petty in the second part of this.
Okay.
Where it gets into the ghost stuff.
Kristen's revenge. That's what we'll call that.
Yeah, but I couldn't let go on the history stuff.
No.
Okay, it got to me.
And
it
you
got
shouldn't.
to me.
When it's that easy to look it up and disprove it, like...
It got to me.
Yeah.
Like this, she was not writing this book in the 90s before the internet was mainstream. Okay.
It was COVID. She had nothing to do. Just sitting in your house, writing a book.
Okay. So let's talk about Kristen Lee and who she is and how she came into possession of Bellaire House. Okay. Picture this. It's 2004. She's a single mother to 2 young boys, Nick and Lane. She's got a pit bull, Bella. She's going through graduate school to earn her master's in forensic psychology.
Man.
While working full-time.
It's impressive, Kristen.
A warrior.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Then comes Hurricanes Francis and Ivan, which caused catastrophic flash flooding that destroyed their home.
Oh.
So now they're homeless, and she has 2 kids to worry about.
And a dog.
And a dog, right? Okay. So they live that way for months until FEMA comes back, lets her know she's qualified for a loan.
Wow.
Yeah. She finds Bellaire House under foreclosure for only $45,000.
Oh.
Which she can afford, even though it's a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Side note, Zillow said it was bought for $35,000, but I couldn't find the public record that it cited. So we're just going to go with 45. So she tours it, okay? She falls in love with its Victorian charm and the fireplaces and the wooden floors, and by the next day has signed the deed.
Wow.
Yep. So pretty soon, just a couple of weeks into living into the house, they start experiencing weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
Yep. Unexplained noises, like distinct footsteps upstairs when nobody else is home. Things are moving, they're disappearing, and then reappearing in places where they would not logically be put by anyone. Doors are opening and closing on their own. Lights are turning off and on by themselves.
Unacceptable.
The phone would ring even when it was disconnected.
Okay, now that's creepy. I was initially going to say that's annoying.
Yeah.
I'm getting
It's
up,
both.
answering
It's
the phone. Ugh.
Yeah. I found one part where she said that her 12-year-old Nicholas felt like he was being watched.
No.
Yeah, when you just don't feel like you're alone.
No.
Okay. So remember, she's in school to be a psychologist.
Yeah.
So at first, she's writing these phenomena off as stress from being homeless and moving, living in a home that needs repairs, grad school.
It's a lot going on.
A lot, right? Okay. So the house is over 150 years old at this point. It's obviously creaking and settling. It's got wiring issues.
Yep.
There's a lot to blame it on.
And it was, you said, in foreclosure?
Yep.
So like it had been sitting vacant probably who knows how long,
Now, that was alluded to. I think there were some years where it sat vacant, but one of the previous owners that guy interviewed moved out in 2005.
Okay.
And then they moved in 2005.
2005.
So that timeline doesn't make me think it was abandoned then, but I think it had been at some point.
Yeah. You could also have, some critters could have gotten in the attic or, you could be hearing some noises from that.
The attic was leaking when they moved in because there were wiring issues in the attic. So she wouldn't turn the lights on up there.
Yeah.
That was mentioned at one point. But so point is, house has a lot of issues. It's old. A lot of things to blame it on.
Yeah. Could just be in her head.
Yeah. So the father of her son, Lane, is also staying with them in the beginning. In the attic, and he starts experiencing mood swings and becoming irritable and borderline abusive to them.
No.
And he's like spending days up in the attic. He's not leaving the attic.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So eventually, like they move in and out of the house multiple times. I think his behavior was the first reason that they moved out. Briefly, until he himself moves out. But all of this to say, Kristen is able to put all of this to the effects of PTSD and stress and all that, until 2 things happen.
Okay.
So the family spent time living downstairs because of all the repairs being done upstairs. So Kristen is sleeping on the couch one night when she wakes up suddenly in the middle of the night, no idea why, until she looks over and sees a man sitting on the couch next to her.
No. Please leave.
He's tall, he's got facial hair, and is wearing a hat and old-fashioned clothes. Mm-hmm. He has no reaction other than to just look at her, expressionless.
No.
He's completely gray and washed out, and she can see right through him.
Classic ghost.
Mm-hmm. So she screams.
As you do.
And he just gets up and walks towards the door, but vanishes before he gets there. So she's like, oh my God, I must be dreaming.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, she doesn't believe in ghosts. Mm-hmm. She herself is a skeptic.
Yeah.
But she looks over, and there is an imprint in the couch cushion where he was sitting.
Oh, his ass groove, to quote Homer Simpson.
So she starts to wonder if she really is hallucinating all of these weird things in the
Yeah.
house or not.
Feel like there's something to this.
Yeah, like this
Maybe
planted the seed.
I'm not going crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Okay, so the second thing that happened was several months later, okay? She'd finally moved into the bedroom upstairs. Mm-hmm. Though some nights, they were so spooked that they would still sleep downstairs. Mm-hmm. They used the basement shower and downstairs half bath and spent almost all of their time in the downstairs rooms because they were so uncomfortable upstairs.
Ew.
So she's laying in bed one night when she suddenly sees this black shadowy cloud start forming in front of her. She said it was like a storm cloud filled with static electricity, and the entire room felt charged with it. Mm-hmm. She realized that she was paralyzed, like something was holding her down. And her dog, Bella, starts freaking out and barking, running around. So she's like, I don't think this is sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Because my dog is reacting. She jumps on top of Kristen on the bed, the dog, and starts, like, barking at this cloud, trying to protect her, right? But then the dog gets bodily thrown across the room and into the wall.
No, not the puppy.
Yeah. So I guess that gives Kristen enough of an adrenaline surge to push past whatever's holding her to the bed. And she runs out of the room with Bella on her heels.
Yeah.
And at that point, she's like, we need to get the fuck out of
here. I will say your dog just suddenly becoming alert and starting to bark at something. That is one of the scariest things, like, especially if I'm staying by myself.
Mm-hmm. And it's like dead silent at night.
And then I see her kind of like, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm about to die. Like,
it's like the dog equivalent of when a cat like stares off at a corner and won't look away.
Yeah, come on.
Like, what are you?
You got to know that's creepy, right?
So I'm almost done with part one. Okay,
was the dog okay?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, the dog followed her out of the room. So I have one more bullet point. Okay. Lee finally manages to move her family out of the house in 2009, never wanting to go back.
So 4 years.
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was her only place. She didn't have money to go elsewhere. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. So she rents it out at first, but no renters ever stay for more than a year. Uh-huh. And reportedly, several people left early because they couldn't handle spooky things happening.
Yeah. I would.
One renter reportedly left after the chandelier crashed down as he passed under it, narrowly missing him.
Phantom of the Opera style.
Mm-hmm. So Kristen tries to sell the house, but she can't find a buyer. She allegedly even tried to give it to the village just to be done with it.
They were like, no thank you.
But they wouldn't take it. And the code enforcer turned her down. And then I saw one interview where she credited him with the idea of turning it into a tourist attraction to generate business for the village.
You gotta do something.
But she didn't want to rent it anymore because she felt that it wasn't safe for people to stay there.
Yeah.
But that would be a way for her to pay for the property taxes and the mortgage because she couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
However, she wouldn't decide to go through with that decision until after the exorcism, which we will get into next time.
Oh, that's a perfect stopping point.
Thank you. Yes, because we are at over an hour now and halfway through my notes. So that is part one of the Bellaire House.
Ooh, I'm very intrigued.
It was wild.
It has been a wild ride, and
Good God.
We're only halfway there.
Yeah, so much history. Good God.
So I mean, like, I'm gonna take back some of the shade I too was throwing at Kristen. Like, you do need to do your research better.
Yes.
But you seem very strong, and
yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah.
And sounds like you've been through it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But good God.
No excuses on the research.
I still lost it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So come back next episode for the ghost stories of Bellaire House. I gave you a little teaser about Kristen's first couple of experiences, but good God, there's so much more.
I can see the computer from here, and just Jordan is scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah, we've got 6 more pages of notes that's just ghost stories. And listen, history aside of this book, I didn't even put down half of what was in it. I pulled out the highlights, and like of the stories I picked out the highlights of the stories. She's got full stories of seances and like these experiences, like other people telling her things that they've seen.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So yeah, get the book, check out the book from the library,
Okay.
whatever. Paranormal Confessions by Kristen Lee. Obviously this is not an advertisement because I did slightly tear her apart.
That should make it seem like a more glowing recommendation, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
I mean, the interesting stuff in it was very interesting.
It balanced out the...
Yeah. I just happened to go too hard into the history research.
She always does. So, I mean, this is sounding like it might be our most ghost-filled episode yet.
It's going to be a full episode of ghosts. Yes. Yeah. It's batshit insane. So you guys are going to have to wait 2 weeks. We're going to take a dinner break and then come back and record the next part.
And it's going to be so hard to not talk about this at all during dinner. I thought that when you first suggested we break for dinner in the middle, which I support because I am a fan of dinner, but I was like, oh, then I'm not going to be able to talk about it all dinner. Oh, that's going to be hard.
Well, if you think of any questions, do talk about them, because then I'll know that listeners will have the same questions, you know?
Okay.
So we can talk about it, you know. It's just if we say anything important, we have to mention it again.
Okay.
So that's all for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you hate the idea of having to wait 2 more weeks, let us know. If this was enough suspense built for you to be excited for the wait, let us know. Please just give us literally any feedback. I feel like I'm shouting into the void here, and I want to know what you guys like about us and what you don't, so we can continue to provide you content that you like.
Yeah.
And the way that you can reach us is our email, egagspodcast@gmail.com. We have a website, egagspodcast.com. We are also on basically all of the social medias at egagspodcast. So find us on there. We also have a Ko-fi, I don't know, and a Patreon where I will be putting, I still haven't done it, but we have bloopers from episodes that get put there. So if you want to give us I don't know, even just $1, then you get access to us being stupid. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Thank you very much again. And this is Everybody's Got a Ghost Story.
What's yours?